sliding on over to the Max announcements from last week, the reboot of HBO Max. We got a lot of exciting announcements. Before we get into it, let me give you a little deets, right? That dropped from over last weekend. Warner Bros. Discovery stock dropped by 6% after the reveal of the new name Max. That's what happens when you get rid of HBO, Ricky Flux. When you hit just Max, right, you lose that association. Boom. It's like Logan Roy just died. Next, Warner Brothers Discovery execs briefly looked at alternatives to the HBO Max name. Speak of the devil. The names that they were looking for or looking at include Warner, WB, or HBO before ultimately sticking with Max. The Max debuts May 23rd. There's going to be 3 price ranges. You with ads can be $9.99 per month, ad-free $15.99 per month, and for ultimate ad-free, you get $19.99 per month, and you can see the redone season 8 of Game of Thrones with that price. So, Ricky Flex, when you look at the names for HBO, or excuse me, for Max, do you think there were any winners there?
I'm going to have the hot take here. I think they went with the right name. And it's not, I think HBO Max I liked. Okay. But first off, they did a lot of studies with HBO Max, the name. There's a reason why they changed it. And it was turning off too many segments of people that people didn't feel like it was for them, basically. So they had to change the name. And it was because of the HBO aspect. So if you kept HBO, even though we all know HBO to be HBO, like they need to get educated, I would say. But if you're trying to build a business and a streamer, you can't be doing that. So you had to change it from HBO. And I think Warner, that's not good in general. And that's just not good. So then it's like, all right, like what are we doing here? I look at it like Dunkin' Donuts. Everyone always called it Dunkin'. And what do? They changed the name from Dunkin' Donuts to Dunkin'. That's how I view this. I love HBO. I rather would have liked to see personally HBO because it just makes it cleaner, makes it a lot easier saying, oh, we're talking about HBO shows or whatever. There's already a lot of confusion already. We going back all the way to HBO Go versus HBO Live and whatever the heck all those different streaming platforms were at the time. But at the end of the day, Max makes sense. It reminds me of the Dunkin' analogy I mentioned. Yeah, like I guess it's not like a home run for sure, but it's the best, I think, case scenario for them.
Despite the jokes I made earlier, I do think it's the best out of the 4 potential names they were considering. It had to be short, had to be concise. But if it was just named HBO, that means every project has to be at the level of like HBO. You know, you can't really have many misses. Like there's a bar, right? You have to
Right.
hit with that name HBO, and it couldn't keep HBO Max because it's like HBO but better. When that's not the case, what we gotten from like the source material from HBO Max. So honestly, Max is the best one they could have gone with. I don't know what else they would have done, but yeah, that's the best one. And when you get rid of the name HBO, like people automatically, I understand why the stock slipped, just because it's like you guys can't decide on a name. But I will say some of these announcements are pretty interesting. A lot of
Yeah,
IP related spinoffs. Go ahead.
right. And I think just one last thing on the name is because you can't like if you kept it at HBO, again, like this is an IP driven company, IP driven studio. You have Warner Bros. You have so many IP under Warner Bros. You have DC underneath you. You have Discovery. You have all these different avenues. So if you just kind of silo yourselves just to HBO, you silo yourself from like millions upon millions of people, much more than just the HBO fans. So if you keep it at HBO Max, that's like, or just an HBO oriented name, that's like disregarding Superman. That's disregarding
Yeah.
Godzilla and like all these other the MonsterVerse, DC, Looney Tunes, like all these different IP that's under you. When you want to maximize, pun intended, your IP. So, and also it differentiates yourself. You have all these pluses, I think the Max really differentiates yourself. And again, the Dunkin' analogy, everyone already really calls you Max. So not really, it's kind of a seamless transition, I would say.
Is that what they call Cinemax? They call that the Max too? Is that how it goes? I feel
Uh,
like all right. So, Ricky, I talked about the spinoffs and reboots that are coming, and there seemed a lot of like energy and positivity from in terms of like fan reaction to these announcements because it felt like HBO or Max was flexing on us a little bit with these announcements. This is something that Netflix doesn't have that IP recognition like Warner Brothers does. Like we're getting an It prequel series. We're getting a Game of Thrones prequel announcement that's not House of the Dragon. We have a Big Bang Theory. Ugh. We also have a Conjuring series. We have live action Harry Potter reboot. And then you have a series spinoff of the Batman. So it's like they're just saying, we already have ownership to like recognizable and proven properties. And it just seems like this is a great start. And it's not, it doesn't sound too experimental. They can, I trust whatever Max is going to put out as long as it's associated with HBO. But it's just, it seems like they have a leg up. It's almost like an advantage as they reboot this with the recognition. Do you agree?
yeah, I agree. And I think what they put out there wasn't it like wasn't it's gonna be tough for me to say, but I think it was a great mix of reliable IP and some new stuff that's like, oh, that'll appease and it appeases everybody. Similar to what I was saying before with the name. You have Game of Thrones, you have It. Sadly, you have the Big Bang Theory, and you have The Conjuring. Like that appeals to so many different audiences with reliable IP. But then you have your HBO spin with Kate Winslet in an historical drama. After seeing Mare of Easttown, you rely on Kate Winslet, HBO. That's going to be a banger. You have Robert Downey Jr., arguably the most popular actor in Hollywood right now, playing three different people, and a kind of a spin of the spy system at American cinema when we had the Vietnam spies. Great idea, great star attached to it. That's in a unique role. Perfect. And then
I can't wait for that.
you have IP again with a True Detective. Not only we already knew it was coming, we already knew the stars, but you come out with a trailer. You had like spot on. Love
They
that.
killed it. They killed it with that
Like
announcement.
you were right. I think you had a tweet or something saying like Max didn't have to do that to us, or maybe I
They
did.
didn't have to go that hard.
But
But thank God they did.
but my last thing, and I know you are the host. I'm not the host of the checkup,
Take it
but
away.
the highlight of the whole thing was arguably the Penguin.
Mm.
I did not expect that. I did not see that coming.
Because I mean, they started shooting it, I think, in January. So, like, this is almost reminiscent of when we got the Batman trailer
Right.
unexpectedly at DC Fandom, the one of two ever DC fandoms. I think it was the first one. And that kind of blew people away and was unexpected. And it gave fans a treat. And like, they know how to treat their fans, this Max channel so far.
Mm.
When it comes to these series, Ricky Flex, before I don't want to jump to the trailer roundup just yet, but which one are you looking forward to most when we talk about Welcome to Derry, the It prequel, Game of Thrones prequel, spinoff Big Bang? I might just leave that off the table. And then the Conjuring universe, and then Harry Potter. I guess Harry Potter would be like the duh alongside Game of Thrones. I guess we just remove Harry Potter from that. What are you most looking forward to?
It would have to be Game of Thrones. Like Harry Potter would be my number one, just because I think there's a lot of like obviously I'm a big we talked about it already, so I don't want to dive too deep into it actually. But the Game of Thrones prequel series, I think what we see now with House of the Dragon, and now we have a Night of the Seven Kingdoms, I think that has potential to be better than the House of the Dragons. I would love whenever they start casting that, that's like holy crap, like that's gonna be like just like House of the Dragons was like when we heard Matt Smith was coming and all these everybody. It was just like gonna be the same thing with the checkup where we're just like, oh my god, every week when we hear casting. I can't wait for that. And Game of Thrones proved that they can do it with House of the Dragon. It might not be as good as Game of Thrones, albeit only one season so far, but they have a plan. Unlike the end of Game of Thrones, they learned their lesson, I think, and that's why I think this Game of Thrones prequel series has a high potential, and even more so than when House of the Dragon got announced.
Yeah, all we got is this title, Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. Um, that sounds expansive, but at the same time, it could be focusing on one singular character. It feels like you could do something different with simply just looking at the title. A knight, KNIGHT, since this is a podcast, of the Seven Kingdoms. So we really just have with House of the Dragon a prequel on the Targaryens, right? Let's say this knight is from a different house, but he has to go through the expansive world of Westeros. That could be sick. That could be amazing. And it's like having Jon Snow just venturing through these different kingdoms. And you're right. The House of the Dragon proved they can satisfy audiences. And it may not be to the level of Game of Thrones, but let's freshen it up a little bit. We focused on one house primarily with House of the Dragon, focus on this one person going through this epic journey. I love it. I love it. I can't wait to see who this knight is. And I think aside what?
But I think this is post House of the Dragon.
Is it? I have no idea. I didn't do any research on that.
I'm pretty sure it's post House of the Dragon because it's about the Targaryens on the throne, but we've already seen the last dragon.
We might have to get on Ali first of his name
guest of the year
about this. Guest of the year, Deepa winner to discuss, right, what this might entail. But I mean, the title was enough for me. If they gave us a sneak peek, I might have passed out. I was at the airport when all this stuff was flowing in with some really sketchy Wi-Fi. So I was just like, what is happening right now? Ricky Flicks, do you see this? The Penguin trailer? Oh my God, Game of Thrones series. What is happening? Like, I don't know. It's raining cats and dogs right now. It's nuts.
It's raining cats and dogs. Love that movie as a kid.
Don't do that. Don't do that, Max. No cats and dog series.
Yeah, let's not do that.
Okay. And then Welcome to Derry. Sort of excited, It prequel. I liked it. I kind of liked it part 2. I kind of liked it.
Ending was trash, but yes.
I definitely liked the first It a lot. And as long as Pennywise is somehow associated, I'll be in on this. But I haven't heard anything about Bill Skarsgård
being attached
with Pennywise. But makes me think he's in it, because they wouldn't just straight up say it. You almost have that association immediately. If it has having any type of project, Pennywise will be in it. And then, yeah, Harry Potter we talked about. If you want to check out our thoughts on the Harry Potter series, make sure you check out our stream, check out a previous episode, and then you can also check out our YouTube. So where I want to go next, trailer roundup. And we have to talk about these, we have 4 trailers. 4 trailers. We had Kate Winslet in The Regime that you talked about. You got Park Chan-wook, The Sympathizer, right? He did Old Boy, starring RDJ. And I think RDJ is actually playing one character, Ricky. He's just like a counterintelligence type of dude that's playing like he just likes costumes and he likes going undercover. And True Detective, Night Country, and finally The Penguin. Where do we start? Pick one.
RDJ.
Let's talk about it. So Sympathizer, it's like what I love about it. It's like a reverse U.S. invading Vietnam story. It's like the Viet Cong coming to the United States during the Vietnam War as a spy. It's a spy story, espionage. And I think this is, as a historian, I like the different lenses. This is something that I can't recall happening regarding a Vietnam story. It's like a real twist. I think it's perfect for a series. And I think RDJ seems like he's having a blast doing this. And I think he's going to have a really interesting relationship with the lead here, because the lead, do you have the guy's name, Ricky?
No, I look it up.
I have it. I wrote it down. So it's Hoa Zondae as the lead, with him being a Viet Cong spy, and then RDJ also being a form of spy, but we don't know in what capacity. I think you could have some really interesting dynamics in this show. And I just love the vibe of it. And it captures the 70s setting with like the cards that are showing up for the credits throughout the trailer. I think it's going to be a fun series. And we talked about with A24 also being a producer of this. I think we're in for something good. And it's a hot start for a non-IP, the first non-IP project that we've discussed thus far.
Yeah, again, Park Chan-wook, Old Boy, classic early to mid 2000s film, thriller, suspense, mystery, twist. If you love psychological thrillers, like that's one. Go check it out. I think that's like, besides RDJ and an HBO series produced by A24, the next thing is Park Chan-wook being at the helm of this. Really is what really excites me about this series and puts that legitimacy. We like to use that word on this podcast. Legitimacy behind it.
We
You
like
know,
that.
and I will say, produced by A24. You know what I started watching today? I watched one episode and change in Beef. I did start it. Pretty good so
Nice.
far. Pretty good
Oh
so far.
yeah.
I went
Just
on a television binge since the last episode, trying to catch up. I watched The Mandalorian season finale, obviously. I watched what I just said. I watched Barry. First 2 episodes of Barry came out. I've just been on and Dave. I watched the 4 episodes now of Dave to catch up on that. Better than last season so far. Happy about it. But yeah, I'm back. But yeah, back to this. Produced by A24. Love that. We just had the A24 deep dive, how they're getting into television more. This is just another example. And also, they were just with Netflix. They're back with HBO. Euphoria. Again, love that.
Ricky Heater on the shows here. I do also want to say, when I first saw this trailer, I thought this is one of the Safdie projects that we're working with HBO because it has like that thriller, like sweat it out type of like feel to a couple moments in this trailer. So I thought this was one of them. But Park Chan Wook, like trusted hands, it's gonna be cool. Moving on, let's talk the regime real quick. I think we should build up to the best, honestly, which is the Penguins. We'll go last there. The regime looks cool. It almost looks like British House of Cards. And I don't know if it's based on a true story. I don't think it is, to be honest. But Kate Winslet looks like she's absolutely killing it. Like it seems like a much more exciting and it's not as reserved as a lot of the stuff we've seen her in. She almost has like a regalness too, like whenever she performs. So it's here. Like that's why Mayor of Easttown was kind of cool because it kind of showed that range, that gritty, hard-nosed type of performance. And this seems like a mix of the two. And yeah, political thriller. Looks like it'll have some nice comedy mixed in as well. But the regime looks great. Yeah,
Looks
that's all I
great.
got.
It's like HBO Max's House of Cards to a lesser extent. Because
Max.
God, I'm not gonna get that right. But yeah, that's where the confusion takes place because you know how like they have HBO Max originals and then HBO originals. Like, is everything gonna be under Max now? So like, is Succession technically Max too? Like, I that's where the
I think
confusion
that's
still is.
but that's good that you don't have to say this. That's not HBO. That's HBO Max original. You know, this is like HBO. It's like okay, this is strictly HBO. This one's Max. That makes it easier in my eyes.
But like when I see that, I'm like, okay, Max subpar, not good enough to be on Sunday nights. That's why it's a HBO Max original,
Well,
even though
all
it's still good.
HBO Sunday nights will be on Max.
Well, of course, same with
Yeah.
Succession right now. But what I'm saying is Succession, that's an HBO show versus The Staircase was an HBO Max show, strictly streaming. You know, so that would be a Max show versus Succession would be an HBO show because it's still live on television, cable.
Right. All of these are Max though. Everything we've announced is Max. That's under Max.
Hmm.
It is. That's why they
No, no,
announced it all at the same time.
but yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say is, are they changing the terminology to everything just being a Max show, or are they still going to have the different, like, you know, HBO and Max? You know,
I
are they
hear
still
you.
going to separate them?
I know what you're saying. I think they will, but all I know is the ones that we're talking about today, they're Max originals,
Interesting, but
which might make you lose a little bit of like positivity in all of it. To be honest,
it does a little bit, but I will say the Staircase was a good series. Just the ending was kind of but it's based off a true story, so it can't really, you know, you kind of knew how it was going to end. But back to the point here, the regime looks good. Andrea Riseborough, tough last few months, even though it should have been the height of her career being nominated for an Oscar. This is a nice comeback coming in with Kate Winslet. But I think the reason why I said House of Cards is because it's this government run by Kate Winslet, kind of, and that's like an authoritarian that's about to unravel. And that's kind of similar to what happens to the big KS in House of Cards,
yeah,
you know? And you have a great actor, actress presence at the lead of the show. I think the great thing about this one is that this is going to be a miniseries, right? So I think that's also,
it's a limited series.
which is fantastic too, because we'll have an open and shut case like a movie.
Yeah,
Love
Kate
that.
Winslet in a limited series, like
Book
that's
it.
gold. Yeah, see you at the Emmys. You know.
See ya.
Moving on. Let's talk about True Detective Night Country. We got the first trailer from Issa Lopez, her show, starring Jodie Foster and Callie Rice. It's going to release later this year on Max. I don't think there is a confirmed release date. Uh, this looks good. You know, it's True Detective. It's got the dueling detectives that are at each other's throat. You got like the old guard versus the young gun, and you got Clarice Starling, Jodie Foster. Feels like it's a perfect casting for True Detective. It's a notable name and also someone we're familiar with as a detective, right? In the highest of prestige projects with the Silence of the Lambs. Just to see her a part of this just felt right. It also kind of just by the setting and like these two people working off one another, it gives a little bit of Taylor Sheridan, Wind River type of
Yep.
vibes. Um, yeah, that's basically what I got because we don't know much other than the fact like they're trying to hunt down this guy, this serial killer, and it's got a really dark tone. Feels like it fits, and it really is dark. Pretty much the entire trailer. I love it though. I was kind of thrown off by True Detective Night Country rather than just saying True Detective season 4. And like I said
Would have
before,
preferred that.
I said this before. It's like The Purge, and then it's like when The Purge does colons and says these other stuff afterwards. You're like, oh, it's not going to be good. I don't get that same vibe after seeing this trailer. We're putting this show in Jodie Foster's hands, and I don't know what she's done recently, but I feel like her in True Detective just feels right.
She was just nominated like 2 years ago for a Golden Globe for a series.
Okay, she's been doing
Mauritanian.
TV, right? She
I
does,
think
yeah,
yeah,
more.
she won. I think she won actually.
Oh man, okay, so yeah, I'm all in.
Yeah, and I think I never watched it, but I know yeah, she won officially. She won. And that was
What has she
critically
been
acclaimed.
doing other than that?
Not on a lot. She all right, listen to this. So she's gonna be a true detective and the Mauritanian. Before that, that was in 2021. It was 2018 Hotel Artemis in a small role. Then she was in a small video, and then in 2014, and then the last time she was actually working like almost every year was back in 2013. Last film was Elysium with
Do you
Matt
think
Damon.
does that make you a little bit nervous that like she's taken on a huge
No,
like
I think because this is
brand
in her
like True
wheelhouse.
Detective?
This is in her
Yeah.
wheelhouse. I think what
Mhm.
makes me nervous is the director, writer, producer, Issa Lopez. And it's not because she's good or bad or anything. It's because I don't know her. She's a Mexican film producer and writer and director. Um, I just don't. I haven't seen anything she's done. I'm not saying it's bad, but just looking at the IMDb's, there's nothing over a 6.5 really, except one thing that's a 6.9. So I'm not too thrilled by it, but I do think Jodie Foster will put in a great shift here and probably get nominated for an Emmy because this is in her wheelhouse. This is what she's used to, and I think that she'll carry the show enough where it's going to be at minimum worth a watch.
Is Pizzolatto writing this?
I don't believe so.
Okay, so I'm reading this now. HBO announced a new take on True Detective was in the works from Barry Jenkins. Whoa, Barry
Whoa,
Jenkins involved with this?
I don't see his name
This is
anywhere
April
around here.
12th, 2023. From Barry Jenkins and writer director Issa Lopez. Now its release is closer than ever. So writer director Issa Lopez. So Pizzolatto not on this, and I felt
Well,
like Pizzolatto kind of crumbled under the pressure of the first season of True Detective. It's not like I would feel more comfortable, honestly, with him writing this. I think they need someone new, and it's just like the brand is so strong. You have Clarice Starling as the lead in the show. You needed just a different flavor because like people liked season 3, a lot of people didn't love it. People hated season 2 and season 1. It was just impossible to live up to. So I think inserting someone new there, if that Barry Jenkins thing is true, I'm in. Holy crap!
yeah, that would be something. But like with Pizzolatto, like he spent his life writing True Detective season 1. You know, like that was his thing.
Years.
Yeah, so like when he
One hit
did
wonder.
crumble under pressure in season 2, that was like under time restrictions and everything. Like he just couldn't do it. And if you look at the other body of work, the Magnificent Seven, obviously adapted. That wasn't successful. Great stars in it, but wasn't successful. And then The Guilty, previous movie, I forget what it's on Netflix, the original foreign language film. I heard that's amazing. I still have to watch it. And he adapted that for the Jake Gyllenhaal one that came out in 2021, which I thought was a fine film. But Fuqua, I think, had his hands too much involved in it and actually like what made it actually took it down. So like Pizzolatto, like he'll always be known as True Detective season 1. But if you say his name isn't something, it makes me nervous. So his name not being in this, I'm fine with it.
He's like, aha,
Yeah,
like take on me. Didn't need to do
one hit
anything.
wonder.
you know, just like that. But that song is so
A banger.
replayable, and it has lasted for decades. Like True Detective season one will last forever. That's one of the
I
greatest
was thinking
seasons.
about restarting that sooner than later
Just
once I
like,
saw this trailer.
ooh,
My annual
ooh.
rewatch every year.
Yeah, you haven't done it yet for 2023 though.
I have not. I was thinking about it after this trailer, but I'm gonna wait.
Okay,
Too
well,
much
this
TV to
is going to
watch.
be but I should have said the regime releasing 2024. I don't know if I said that. Speaking of releases in 2024, let's get to the best for last. Let's talk about the Penguin. Unexpected behind the scenes slash live look at the upcoming show. This looks really real, even more so than the Batman because no one's dressed up, no one's wearing costumes. Everyone looks like it's an even and more grittier underworld than the Sopranos. And you have like the Tony Soprano vibes from the unrecognizable Colin Farrell. He had such limited screen time in the Batman. Like we're chomping at the bit to see him go on his own journey through his own series. There's rumors that Pattinson might be showing up as Batman. I think you do need him for a portion of this show. Almost similar to how the Penguin was at about 9 minutes of screen time in the Batman. Let's give 9 minutes of screen time to Pattinson and the Penguin, right? Because you got to still know you're in this Batman world. And at times, I don't think you're going to even realize it based on what I saw in this trailer. And what really got me going in this trailer is him shooting that gun and then laughing afterwards. I'm like, damn, he's going to own this. Give him the Emmys now too. They're going to just be all these Max shows are just going to be competing at the Emmys versus one another. To be honest,
Yeah, all these really like it's gonna be crazy year 2024 for Max. Yeah, this looked good. This looked really good. Like I think it looked slick too. It was like the way it was cut, very
oh
effective.
yeah,
Cobblepot, Colin Farrell looks in his element even more so here. It looks like he's taking control. He's taking that extra step. Like this is his city, his underworld of Gotham. It looks like that's what the show, like what we knew was going to be about him, like coming up. It looks like he just owns the role. Like he owns that, and I love it. Then Kristen Milioti, we saw a little glimpse of that. Little Falcone, Sophia Falcone. Did we get a little Clancy Brown Maroney in this? I don't
Clancy
remember.
Brown's playing Salvatore Maroni,
But
right?
did we get him in the trailer? I don't
Not
remember
in the
him.
trailer, but I do want. Let's talk about
I
Sophia Falcone. Let's
okay,
talk
okay.
about Kristen Milioti because there's an interesting dynamic here. We got carryover from obviously Carmine Falcone, played by John Turturro, dies in the Batman. Spoiler alert. And Penguin is the right hand man of Carmine Falcone. And now you see the relationship in this trailer where they're having dinner. It looks very civil between the Penguin, right? Oswald Cobblepot and what's her face, Sophia Falcone. It makes me think: are these two going to be at their necks against one another, and maybe have a revenge story implemented within this series of Sophia Falcone against the Penguin? Because obviously they didn't end well, like Oswald Cobblepot and Carmine Falcone. So there might be some hard feelings.
Brat.
And I also was thinking they might just be teaming up, and it almost looks like a romantic dinner that they're on. Could it be that Sophia Falcone rises alongside, like almost like his Carmela, right, to his Tony Soprano? That'd be kind of cool.
I was thinking that for this season, it would be the two of them, Falcone and Cobblepot, against Maroney, Clancy Brown. And then, like, I don't know where it goes. I
Then
wasn't
Doug
thinking love
Stamper looks
interest.
like a boss too, or is he a right hand man?
Michael Kelly, Doug Stamper. I can't
When he's
wait
in something,
for
you know
him.
people are dying. You know
And he's going to be at the hands of it.
Like if Michael Kelly's in something, Doug Stamper, heads will roll. Heads will roll.
Doug Stamper is probably like top 5, top 10 most underrated television characters of all
Supporting
time.
characters.
Yeah,
Dude. He is
unbelievable.
Right up there. And they also have this like interesting relationship. There's like a mentor-mentee thing going on between someone rising the ranks within the crew of Oswald Cobblepot. It's like him and this like 20-something-year-old, maybe even a little bit younger. And it seems like that's a potential growing relationship where like he might rise the ranks. Honestly, There's a lot of tragedy in this dude's life. I can see that kid dying already.
Mm.
Like I can't see him alongside Penguin in the next Batman movie. But who knows? Just this is something to look out for, that relationship. And it just feels really nice to have the only part of this that felt like it was a part of the Batman world is the gritty underworld. And also like the Matt Reeves font that says from Matt Reeves in from the world of the Batman. It just felt like, okay, it's good to be back here. Because like we're not gonna the Batman is ramping up production, I believe, for this upcoming fall. And I'm glad there's something to hold us over and to keep us in this world and also lead us into what part two might look like. This is like the connectivity that brings a lot of people joy. It could be a hindrance at times, but the amount of time that Matt Reeves takes for these projects, he's not doing anything separate right now. He's devoted to the Batman. I'm excited with him, his direct hands on this show. He's not just passing it on, he's very much there. So give me this. And who's doing this with him? Zobel? Craig Zobel? Chernobyl?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay. It's Chernobyl, right? That he did?
Yep. And I'm just gonna double check that actually. Just
Craig Mazin. Craig Mazin. He did Chernobyl and Last of Us.
Right. I believe he's a part of this too with Matt Reeves.
There's someone doing this show that's a
Craig
part of
Zobel.
Wait, Mayor of Easttown. Wasn't it
Mayor of Easttown? Sorry. Yeah, Zobel was Mayor of Easttown.
And that's Craig.
God, hold on. Mayor of Easttown, director Craig Zobel.
Gotcha.
Is on this project. Maizen.
The fact that these all intertwine, all these shows and like these announced projects, it confuses us on the checkup and the trailer roundup, but it makes that word again, it makes everything legitimate. And like the idea that it's going to be successful, that's how HBO reaches that bar. They have these guys. It's almost how like Pixar has like their Pete Doctors and company that just like rotate who's directing. It's like, oh, you want to do the Penguin? Let's slide you on over. Boom, bang. See you at the Emmys. All right. Any other thoughts on the Penguin before we kind of wrap up this trailer roundup?
No, I think we nailed it. I'll just say this to wrap up my thoughts on Max here. We have Succession right now. We're 4 episodes, and we have 6 left. 6 weeks left of Succession. We just had Barry. There are some conflicting thoughts about Barry online, but I'll tell you one thing. It's different than season 1. I wish it had more season 1 vibes, but it's good. It is good. The quality is there. Bill Hader's great. Also directing is great. Everything about that show is great. They differentiated, which, maybe a little too extreme. Still great. And then next week, the 27th, Love and Death, with our plump boy, Jesse Plemons, Elizabeth Olsen. May 1st, Woody Harrelson, White House Plumbers.
That's my show. That's my show.
And again,
Watergate.
June 4th, the trailer came out this past week. The Idol. And that looks bananas.
HBO is about to go on a goddamn run.
This is going to be
a
run of runs.
Last of Us, Succession, Barry.
It's crazy.
Into the list you just said. It's nonstop. That goes right into the summer, and that's when HBO shines, right? It's the summertime blockbuster. It's like their quote unquote blockbuster,
Right. It's amazing. And then obviously we have all those shows through June, and then obviously we have Barbie, Oppenheimer, Mission Impossible for movies. Like this is
we're eating. We're eating. We're eating. I can't wait, Ricky Flex. Great points. Way to call that out to kind of close out this segment, and that's going to do it for episode 212 of the Drive-In Podcast. If you want to check out our thoughts on Harry Potter, make sure you look back on our stream and find that episode. It's right in the title. And also, if you're on YouTube, you could just look at our channel, and there's specifics on our thoughts on the Harry Potter series. So make sure that you also listen to our previous episode this week. We got Beau is Afraid this weekend. We did an A24 deep dive, the hottest studio in Hollywood. Make sure you take a listen to that before you head to the theaters this weekend. Then come back, visit us on Monday. We're going to have Beau is Afraid review and leading into our Wednesday deep dive and then our checkup the following week. Ricky Fox, am I missing anything?
No, just Beau is Afraid. I feel a little better about it since the last episode. I mentioned my nerves. I feel a little better heading into this weekend to see it.
All right. All right, let's get over those nerves. Let's go check out Ari Aster's upcoming, I guess, semi-blockbuster. Make sure you're following us on our socials at The Drive-In Pod on Twitter and Instagram. Make sure if you're watching on YouTube, you like, comment, and subscribe. That's going to do it for episode 212. Until next time, we will smell ya.